Chaffetz, and welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. President Trump's only been in office for a couple of weeks, but he's already draining the swamp. Several high-ranking FBI employees have been told to resign or lose their jobs by Monday, and including some of those officials who investigated the president over January 6th, which was a popular topic during the Senate hearing for FBI Director Kash Patel this week, who was serving in the Department of Defense at the time of the incident. Patel detailed to Senator Ted Cruz how it was the Democrats who dropped the ball on securing the Capitol that day.
While you were chief of staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and in numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator.
Madeline Rivera in Washington with the latest on the FBI purge. Hey, Maddie.
Internal documents obtained by Fox show Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove ordered the termination of more than half a dozen FBI employees by Tuesday. Bove is also asking for a list of current and former FBI personnel assigned to January 6 and Hamas cases. This is a record that could potentially encompass thousands of employees. Case in point, Acting FBI Director Brian Driscoll says he is one of those employees, as is Acting Deputy Director Robert Kissane. The order for the review came on the same day top Justice Department officials ordered the firings of prosecutors who worked on January 6 cases. Bove says the Trump administration is looking to end the, quote, weaponization of the federal government and continue the process of restoring a culture of integrity, credibility, and accountability. But Democrats are calling the terminations and the reported efforts to oust agents a purge from a president intent on retribution. Just on Thursday, President Trump's nominee to head the FBI, Kash Patel, said this about possible firings within the agency.
Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations? Yes or no?
I am not aware of that,
Thank you.
Senator.
The FBI Agents Association says dismissing potentially hundreds of agents would severely weaken the Bureau's ability to protect the country from national security and criminal threats, and will ultimately risk setting up the Bureau and its new leadership for failure. Fox is told many of the employees are planning to sue as they believe they are being fired without cause. Nicole?
Thanks so much, Maddie. Jason, going from the hearings this week and then to what we've learned from the emails, I think they were obtained by ABC News, is that the FBI is essentially being purged, and there were also some firings happening at the DOJ. But we did hear Kash Patel say this week at the Senate Judiciary Committee, I have no interest, no desire, and will not confirm to go backwards. There will be no politicization at the FBI. There will be no retributive actions taken. It is kind of sending a mixed message, seeing the email saying that they're going to be fired or demoted if they don't resign.
Look, we just lived through 4 years of the politicalization of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You had the person in charge of counterintelligence spending his time not on counterintelligence, but investigating Donald Trump and his family, going nowhere. So they're going to do something here. But I almost find it laughable that the Democrats out there are trying to blame Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. They haven't even been Senate confirmed. They're not even in office yet. So, and remember, there are 110,000 employees at the Department of Justice. There are about 38,000 FBI agents. The overwhelming majority of them do good, wonderful, patriotic work. But there are politicalization efforts by some few that need to be purged. And Donald Trump was elected with the idea that he is going to get in there and clean house and restore justice and restore the belief in what needs to be the most important law enforcement agency in our country. Because right now, people have seen it, they've seen the lawfare, and they want to change, and Donald Trump will lead that change.
Well, and at least to Jason's point, Kash Patel has actually said a lot of poignant things over the last year, and that the January 6 riots, they actually do need to be investigated. He was on a podcast, I think it was March 7th, 2023, where he said this, if we could pull it up.
What you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th. Once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation.
So he is saying this still needs to be investigated because he does believe that there is a huge history of politicization in the FBI and the DOJ. Just because he's investigating it, and at that point, if he finds wrongdoings, you can then remove someone. That's not retaliatory. That's just doing your job of removing bad actors.
Yeah, and I also think he's referring, he probably isn't directly, but there is an institutional distrust when it comes to anything that the federal government touches. I mean, it goes back to FEMA when we know that they were dealing with in the disasters recently with the hurricanes, and they were treating people who had Trump signs outside their homes differently. I mean, it's at every single level. So yes, there does need to be more investigating for sure, and that will happen. But I think Americans are they're tired, they're exhausted, and they don't believe people anymore, and they're really looking to be able to have faith in what's going on. Yeah.
Well, Todd,